I'm that man, your man, the illustrious tour guide, Cole Johnson. And on this episode, we're going to celebrate champions twice over. We're going to talk about a ridiculous event that's taking place away from the sports arena. We're, of course, going to put a ridiculous event in the Dope of the Week microscope. And we're going to break down the partnership that was now Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. But for now, it's time for headlines. All right, let's start in Las Vegas, shall we? Where we have a winner. Yeah, that's right. The Stanley Cup champion is the Golden Knights of Vegas. Now, when the owner of the team, Bill Foley, was awarded the NFL expansion team, he mentioned that his goal was to win the Stanley Cup by season 6. Well, last night, right on the dot in their 6th season, the Golden Knights are hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup to the tune of 9-3, beating down the Florida Panthers, winning their Stanley Cup final series 4-1, earning their first championship as a franchise. Now, the Panthers did pull off upset after upset after upset to get to the final, but they fell to the Golden Knights, who just efficiently went through the playoffs, just basically skating like blurs in winning their title in only 22 games. The captain of the Golden Knights, Mark Stone, he hit a hat trick in last night's game. It was the first Stanley Cup final since Peter Forsberg did it way back in 1986. And he went on to say the following in just taking in the moment. Quote, "Unbelievable. The look in my teammates' eyes when I got the Stanley Cup was one of the craziest feelings I've ever had. I can't even describe the feelings in my stomach right now. It's everything you can imagine." Close quote. Well, if you felt that before, you could be feeling it all summer long when you and your teammates and the coaching staff will be touring with Lord Stanley's Cup all over the world as you get to say, "I am a Stanley Cup champion," and you'll get to see your name literally etched onto the cup. Congratulations to the Golden Knights. Also, congratulations to the Florida Panthers. Just breezing by the Hurricanes in the conference final, blanking the Maple Leafs in the conference semifinals, and coming back from a 3-1 series deficit and a 3-2
Game 7
deficit with only 1 minute remaining in the game, and they got that far. So kudos to the Panthers as well. But of course, to the victor go the spoils. Golden Knights, it is your time to shine. Now, speaking of shine, going from shine to possible shiner. Yeah, this guy took a licking on Sunday, and he kept on ticking, though, and I give him credit for it. The New York Yankees radio play-by-play announcer John Sterling was hit hard in the forehead as a foul ball. Oh, sorry, Saturday. My bad. He was hit in the head with a foul ball coming in his direction as he was calling the game in the 3-1 victory for the Yankees over the Red Sox. With 2 outs in the 9th, the DH, Justin Turner, had worked the count full when he hit a foul directly behind home plate. And in mid-call, Sterling was in the booth with broadcast partner Susan Waldman, and he said ow, which I would have said the same, after the ball glanced off of his head. And he was shocked that it really hit him, and he didn't know it was coming back that far. You know, when you see baseball just come, you don't know if it's coming that far. You don't know if it's coming that fast, too. It's really, really odd how it looks. But after that short pause, though, Sterling returned to calling the game as if nothing happened. So, after another foul ball, the ground out hit the game, ended the game, and Sterling, I guess, got patched up. Well, he's fine. I'm glad that he is good. I hope everything is fine. Hope everything still is fine with him. But he'll be traveling now to Boston to see the two teams play off there. Maybe it could be good luck for the both of them, considering that neither one of them are near the top of the AL East. I'm sorry, my bad. Staying on the diamond, but going out west. A season high, almost 28,000 fans filled the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum on Tuesday night to take part in a reverse boycott designed to both send a message to the owner of the team, John Fisher, and to show that fans in Oakland still care about the A's. Well, the attendance was supposed to show, of course, that the fans still care, but a chant of "sell the team" was basically to send that message to John Fisher, saying that the ownership group is a little bit frugal. Actually, they think the ownership group is a lot frugal. The protest has been in the works for 2 months, and it has taken on added meaning since the A's have eyed relocation to Las Vegas, and stuff has been leaked out for a good month now. Now, the A's moved one step closer to leaving their home of 55 years yesterday when the Nevada state approved a bill that would provide public funding for their possible $1.5 billion Vegas pig pen, I guess. Along with sell the team, the A's fans chanted "Stay in Oakland," and fans sported, I should say, T-shirts in A's colors, which read "Sell," and that was made by the company Oakland-ish. Fans also displayed signs that said "Sell the team," among other things. Now, the record of the team has been 1850. Now, that is despite winning their last 6 games. Now, attendance has been woeful. The A's on average have been drawing barely 8,000 fans a night this season. They hit a low mark of 2,000 for a Monday night game back in May against the Diamondbacks. Well, in order for your team to stay in Oakland, you got to do 2 things. You're going to have to pack that stadium, and you got to go to the ballot box to force them not to move. But since you voted with your wallet that you thought the guy was cheap, the owner is voting with his, along with a whole ton of Mayflower and U-Haul trucks. Vegas, here the A's come. Ugh. Peyton Hillis, former NFL running back, he says it is a miracle, 100% of one, that no one died when he saved his son and niece from a dangerous rip current while they were swimming in Florida earlier this year. Now, he detailed this on yesterday's Good Morning America, and he told about the details of the incident in which the interview with the co-anchor interviewer, Michael Strahan, made it first public in January. Now, Hillis went on to say the following. Quote, "The night before it was a bad storm, but I really didn't pay too much attention to it. Up the next morning, it was windy, but it was beautiful. I think the scariest part was when I was swimming to my son, and I had to pass by him because my niece was in more danger. I knew that I had to pass him to get to Camille first because, if I didn't, then there was no way she would have made it." Close quote. Well, Peyton, I'm glad you were able to save both of them. And it is wonderful to see that you can be a hero in plain clothes. And I know you'd say, well, he was an NFL player. It just shows you that if you have the need and you feel the energy to save, that's all you need and that's all you got to do. So thank you, Peyton. And I'm sure that your niece and your son thanks you as well. And they will forever thank you. Now, turning our attention to the Mile High City. Now, 10 people were injured in a shooting yesterday in Denver, and what investigators suspected started as a drug deal as basketball fans celebrated far and wide in Denver because the Nuggets got their first NBA championship. Now, Denver police said that the shooting took place roughly about 12:30 in the morning, just over 3 hours after the game wrapped, and was within a mile of Ball Arena, where the Nuggets defeated the Heat on Monday night to the tune of 94-89. Now, the 10 people who were wounded included a suspected shooter, a 22-year-old guy who was taken into custody after a police chase. And according to authorities, another suspect, a 33-year-old man, was also taken into custody as he was located in a vehicle near the scene. Now, they said additional charges may be pursued as the investigation continues. Well, there's an investigation that needs to continue. We have our champion in the National Basketball Association, and there isn't even a doubt nor question. It is the Denver Nuggets. They have their first championship in their 47-year NBA history, and they are the last ABA team to make it to the finals. Now, we could think about all of those players in the past: Dan Issel, Alex English, Lafayette or Fat Lever, Kiki Vandeweghe, even David Thompson and Dikembe Mutombo. You could probably even go forward: George Karl, Carmelo Anthony, and even go back and Doug Moe and Larry Brown. It's a wonderful moment for the organization because we now have a wonderful tandem that we can possibly now put to the forefront and celebrate the way we should. That would be center Nikola Jokic and point guard Jamal Murray. Now, for the other players as well, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, Christian Brown. This is a wonderful moment for the team. And for head coach Mike Malone, he knew what numbers to call, what buttons to push, and he did his thing. Congratulations to the Nuggets. The Heat, you were game, but you just simply ran against a team that was just too tough, too deep, too talented, and had two guys that just was not going to allow their team to lose. And when you're against that, the going is too tough to overcome. And that ends this week's headlines. We'll take a pause for the cause, and when we get back, from the sublime to the ridiculous. What do I mean? Come on back.
You have to learn to live with yourself before you can make a commitment of yourself to someone else.
When you go to something that's already structured, like the church, I don't need to go in there thinking I'm the pastor. It's like already one set up, you know what I'm saying?
It just had everything, but I learned, you know what I'm saying? Everything I did, I learned from.
So we look forward to seeing you same time, same place. Know that we love you, God loves you more. Continue to stay safe, do the right thing, stay out of trouble.
Conversation that informs a community. Brothers of Legacy. Every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Quinn.
Moment of clarity. I haven't watched BET in years.
KP.
Drake needs to come back with another triple platinum album.
E. Digger.
And then you have Ray J. Like, I can't stand that River Cricket.
The Guru.
Okay, the level of crack she's smoking, I don't want it.
BS3 Network proudly presents the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast, where from card tips to hot topics to meep of the week, anything goes. Live every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Central.
Cole Johnson here. And as we always do with a live episode, let's take a trip, the first of 4, to the VIP zone. Now, this is important because this is the lifeblood of the show. And if a comment is really, really good and it stands out for this episode, that quote will be one of the chapters in this episode. To No Credentials Required Zone, Ryan McCarthy, he says, there's that music again. It's time for Cole Sportz with the Z, with apologies to the West Indies and all other principalities of the former British Empire. Thank you, Ryan. I totally appreciate you. I've always have held you in high regard and high esteem. I'm glad you're here, brother. David 3000, glad that you're here. He says thanks once again of a private conversation we had. He says, man, that was amazing Tuesday night. Yeah, it was. To see the Golden Knights literally and figuratively skate circles around the Panthers. It was amazing. Now I know in part David 3000, for those who don't know, he's a Boston fan. I know he's in the Massachusetts area. And so any team that's Boston, he'll rep. So of course, since the Panthers booted out the Bruins, more than likely he was rooting for any team to knock the Panthers out. And so he was happy that the Golden Knights did. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful comments. Keep them coming, please. And unfortunately, what I don't want to keep coming is coming now, and that is information, news, and interest in Zion Williamson's sex life. Now, I will go further into detail when I get beyond setting this up, but NBA fan, you're getting ridiculous. You're getting aggravating. You're getting on my nerves. And yes, it definitely is far past time to send you one of these. Email today, NBA fan. CC Drama Junkies. Subject of email: Zion Williamson situation is comedy. Body of email: oh my goodness, I think I have a headache just by even saying Zion's name and thinking about the incident, or I should say the situation in totality. And why is it? Well, okay, for those who've lived under a rock. So during the time the conference finals ended and the NBA finals played, we learned a few things. One, Zion was doing mighty fine in the bedroom when he was healing from his injury, because he announced that he impregnated his girlfriend and they're now expecting a baby girl, his first and her first. So we're thinking, yay, wonderful situation, is great. And Zion, yeah, you still suck because you don't want to play on the court and you only play 1/3 of the year. But you know what? Cool. You have a baby on the way. That's awesome. And then a hoe. I can't think of another way of saying it, but I'll put it this way. And then a sex worker. No, not the one that Zion impregnated. A sex worker came out and had the nerve to say, how dare you, and put their business out on Front Street. And I'm not going to go into all of the details of that, but basically she embarrassed herself and alleged that Zion was footing the bill when it came to her life, to the point of a monthly stipend is a cold way of saying it, but a monthly salary, I guess, is the best way of putting it. So the woman is 32, and I'm not even going to mention her name, but you all know the name. So she posts about Zion in a diatribe that has yet to be answered. Since he announced that his girlfriend and him are expecting, and the baby's supposed to be coming out in November. Now, she alleged that Williamson also sexually involved her, or was sexually involved with her, revealing total details that are explicit in nature about their alleged relations just over the past week. Now, multiple tweets this past Saturday, the woman posted alleged text between her and Williamson, which basically said that the star ruined her life. Now, all I have to say is this. This got a lot of attention with people who really didn't care about the product on the court, because this is where I direct it to today, NBA fan. Fools had the nerve to say, quote, "This actually is getting more attention than the NBA finals will." Close quote. Newsflash, dummies. This is the highest rated finals in 5 years. So you can. No, I don't have that. You basically can take this. But it literally felt as though that you all were sitting with popcorn on your lap, and you're just chowing down, and you had the napkin at the ready, and you were boo-hooing a whole ton of crocodile tears because you were just so enamored with this young man possibly ruining 2 women's lives. That is how pathetic you are today, NBA fan. You find this to be more enthralling, more entertaining, more interesting than athletes who really want to play basketball, get on the court and prove that they're good. That right there proves how ridiculous you all are. Right there. Nothing else needs to be said. That proves how ridiculous you are. Now, the reason why I said why this situation is funny and it's comical is because we all were wanting to see Zion have any type of energy whatsoever. We were like, well, come on, you've had this hamstring pull since the turn of the new year. You showed signs that you could play, and all of a sudden you just vanished. Where, Zion, are you? Where are you, Zion? Where are you? And we got our answer. We got our answer to the tune of him being happy with impregnating his girlfriend. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the man was putting in work, but it wasn't on a court. It was on a mattress. But hey, more power to him. Because it looks like he was putting in work on a mattress. Like for him, it was
Game 7.
And look, the game in the bedroom, that's him. I don't care about that. What I find funny is that these are men, grown men, who seem to be more enthralled, happier, more in tuned to Zion Wilson's personal life than the action that you can see on TV. I'm like, oh my gosh. You lampooned the Heat and the Nuggets in the finals, saying that you want it to be on NBA TV because it doesn't deserve to be on network television. You basically said, does anybody care? And I'm like, yes, I do, because I see many things that's right with it, like no Celtics, no Lakers, no Durant, no Curry, no Warriors, and no LeBron, all within the same year. Now, I'm not saying no Curry or the Warriors because I hate them. I'm saying it because it makes it for the media to put forth an easy storyline. Oh, 5th championship in 7 tries for the Warriors. Fifth championship in 11 tries for LeBron. The Lakers Celtics, the oldest rivalry in NBA. Durant, he's looking for his first championship with not the Warriors crew. You see what I'm going here? There wasn't an easy storyline for the media to grab onto with the Nuggets nor the Heat. Now, you could possibly say, well, the Heat, they narrowly dodged being a historical footnote because they staved off a 3-0 series deficit to an ultimate collapse to the Celtics. Yeah, but they still didn't close it out and finish the deal. And you could say, well, the Nuggets, this was their first finals trip and their first finals victory. Okay, that's fine. And we came out with new storylines, such as the best dynamic duo today now is Jokic Murray. And there isn't a debate about that. You can put whomever you want. They played Booker and Durant and beat them under the table. They played LeBron and Davis and swept them. So they and in the first round they played with Karl Anthony Towns, which is to be and Anthony Edwards, beat them in 5. So they saw 3 duos that were there. Plus, you had another one that was to a much lesser degree in Butler and Adebayo. Beat them in 5 games. So we have this new storyline of we got a team that we can probably back now that looks like they are young enough to keep doing this over and over again. But you all don't want to see that. Not saying you out there, my VIPs, because my VIPs are intelligent enough to understand what it is I'm saying. They want to see wonderful basketball being played, and that's what we saw with the Heat and the Nuggets. No, you want to read in National Enquirer news. That is how pathetic you all are. That this young man who, looks like he has to deal with a lot of PR issues, he is more enthralling to you than what regular athletes do, which are supposed to inspire us all. It just goes to show that you are no worse nor better than a soap opera fan, because you care about if one guy has hit however many juice boxes and gets to flaunt all that money. Oh, well. You can be all about it. I'm not. Cole Johnson, Cole Sportz, Cole Sportz with a Z at gmail.com.
You're listening to the classiest sports show on the planet. Cole Sportz! From the vault, a look back at a key moment in sports history.
June 14th, 1998. Now, leading up to that season, the Bulls organization in the front office basically said to the head coach, Phil Jackson, it doesn't matter what you all do in this upcoming season, 1998 is your last. And man, did it ever not disappoint. The Bulls looked like they were, as I mentioned on another show, it looked like they were like the Beatles or Led Zeppelin or Michael Jackson, or name a huge star in recent times, Taylor Swift, just touring everywhere, and all media eyes were on this team. Like they couldn't scratch an itch and it not be reported. Well, they raced out to a 62-20 record, grabbed the number 1 seed in the East, and breezed all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they had to really fight their way past the game Indiana Pacers in a rugged and tough 7-game series. Waiting for them is the also 62-20 squad of the Utah Jazz. Now, they end up having home court advantage over the Bulls because they beat the Bulls in both their games in the season. They had a tough first round opponent in the Rockets, beat them 3-2. They cruised by the Spurs in 5, and they swept the Lakers in 4. And that was with the Shaq and Kobe led Lakers. Before the Jazz tried to avenge their loss the year before. It went 3-2 to the Bulls. They went back to Utah for Game 6, where you had Jordan with the steal on one end of Karl Malone and a shot past a game and defensive stalwart Byron Russell to pull the Bulls to a 87-86 victory, notching their 6th win and 6th championship in 8 years. The Chicago Bulls ended their dynasty, the 2nd greatest in NBA history, by getting their 6th ring in 8 tries by beating the Jazz 87-86 to win the 1998 NBA Finals on this date in 1998.
From the vault, brought to you by Cole Sportz. This is a journey into crime. A podcast journey that tells the stories of those long forgotten or those easy to remember. We go on a journey that reveals mystery, intrigue, and offers more twists and turns than a country highway. We have looked over cases, we've combed over evidence and testimony, yet we still are left with no answers. Sometimes, in order to get a deeper understanding of something, you must return to view. Now available for download for subscribers only. Each episode premieres only on the USA Today network. Join now for just $1 to receive premium content like Return to View. That's $1 to become a subscriber and a Return to View loyal listener. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central.
Welcome back to Cole Sportz. Cole Johnson here. And welcome back, as I will do, to the VIP zone, the lifeblood of the show, where I get to greet the VIPs once again. And my apologies, David 3000. He says he was referring to the A's protest game last night. when he was talking about it was amazing to see the crowd be the way they were and chant what they chanted. And yeah, the funny thing about the A's crowd, it's lively. They have a real good spirit about them when they're interested in actually wanting to root for the team. But when they protest, boy, they do not play. The Hall TV and hit me in the feels with my favorite rap group of all time. He says, Cole and the Sun, the public enemy number one. Thank you, my man. He also goes on to say, Cole, may I be a guest on the Mentality Show to cook on the Zion story? Not a guest, but stay tuned, man. We might actually do a panel real soon, like sometime next month. Trying to get down exactly what it is we want to talk about in order to do what we do. But yeah, when we do actually hammer down the topic, Wise and I will hit you up because I think that'll be interesting to talk about. And he says, I'm with it. So am I, brother. So am I. So yeah, it'll be cool to chop it up with you. So that might be something that we do. It might be something we'll do. Ryan McCarthy says, I would rather watch a supposedly boring player like Nikola Jokic ball out than to subject myself to a current never was who barely makes it onto the court. And thank you for saying supposedly, because I'm getting sick or tired of people talking about Nikola Jokic as if he's horrible. So he may not be as graceful as other athletes are. He may not be as athletic as other people are. It doesn't matter. Does he get the job done? Yes or no? And from what I can tell, and I think what you can tell, Ryan, 2 days ago, he got the job done. Larry O'Brien trophy in one hand, Finals MVP on the other, courtesy of Bill Russell. I think he got the job done. And so would I. I would rather watch Nikola Jokic than Zion Williamson too, sir. He goes on to say, and if you'd rather hear about which hoe is cavorting with a never was than watch some excellent basketball being played, you are the problem. Thank you for that mic drop, sir. Thank you for that. Victor, VLock83 says, Mr. Cole Sportz. Hot TV says, can't wait as I submit my campaign to be on the panel. All right, I appreciate that. He also submits his thoughts on the Nuggets and Heat. He says, Jokic, Curry, and Yokang are class acts. Yeah. I think you and I know someone who would probably argue on the Yokang part. And speaking of Yokang, here is your next Don't Hunt the Week. Dote of the Week is sponsored by nobody. The winners of this episode's Dote of the Week are the Florida State Athletic Commission and whoever promoted that debacle of an exhibition between Floyd Mayweather and John Gotti III. And if who it is I'm thinking it is, then Floyd, you get it too. And why do those entities get the Dote of the Week this week? Man, I'm so glad you asked. So, quiet as it kept, there was an exhibition match between Floyd Mayweather and John Gotti III. And so they got into it and everything seemed to be fine. But throughout the fight, Gotti wanted to clinch. And so the ref was a little busy getting them unclinched. So it got to the 6th round where he separated them from being clinched again. And then all of a sudden, the fight was called. Gotti was hearing no parts of that, and he wanted to swing some more on Mayweather. Now, and then, of course, it caused a fracas in the ring as many of Team Money came on into the ring and just caused a huge amount of chaos. But thankfully, no one got hurt seriously. Now, as a result, the commission They suspended Gotti for 6 months. Mayweather has not been penalized as of now. The good Lord, the state commission had this to say about the matter. Quote, the DPPR, Florida Athletic Commission, took immediate action the evening of Sunday, June 11th, and suspended John Gotti III for 6 months. Mayweather has not been penalized. Close quote. Now you're probably saying, well, wait a minute, Cole. Well, that's nothing. Okay, so yeah, ref called off the fight. Gotti acted the fool. He still wanted to fight, and he fought after the fight was called. Yeah, okay, that's an open shut slam dunk thing, right? Right, I say.
No.
Get why the fight was called. The fight was called because there was too much profanity being said in the ring. Too much profanity in the ring. That fight was called because the language was too frank and too tawdry.
You for real?
Now, as you know, I am not one who curses. I try to steer clear of obscenities. So I don't have any issue with that in terms of, if if you have something about that, fine. But if you're going to try to censor fighters in cursing,
you've got to be joking me.
You're going to try to censor fighters in trash talking.
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
Fighters. Want to censor fighters? Not have them curse? I did not think that when we watched boxing, whether it's an exhibition or a professional fight, and it's between two adults, whether it's men or women, it doesn't matter. But I would think with boxing matches between two adults, the last thing that I think we would have to concern ourselves with is the fact that the referee is a teacher and the two boxers are in grammar school. I did not think that it was that it was a reason to call off a fight to swear. I would get if one boxer was just simply clobbering another and for health reasons you call off the fight. I get that if you were to if a boxer were to be foul, like when Mike Tyson bit the ear off of Vander Holyfield one too many times, you call a fight then. I get that. That makes sense. Those are reasons that you call off a fight. Or like if equipment is faulty and the corner doesn't want to deal with it and the equipment is still faulty. Those are reasons you call off a fight. The fact that you use curse words to stop a fight? Again, I don't curse, so it doesn't really bother me. But what bothers me is fighters normally curse. Fighters, when they trash talk, they normally swear. Fighters, when they actually talk and get greasy with the language, they normally throw obscenities. And and it's normally a safe space and a safe haven for them to do so. So you mean to tell me that in this exhibition, that in exhibition bouts, you're supposed to act as though if you were to utter profanity, you were to get your mouth washed out with soap. Is that what you're saying? Look, I could go on and on about this ridiculousness, but what I will definitely say as I put a bow on this is you must be ashamed of yourself, Florida State Athletic Commission. You are not a school. You are not a public school. You're not an independent school district. You make sure athletes aren't hurt. That is the biggest rule of them all. You want to make sure that the event is safe for the public and for those participating. The last time that I should say, the next time I'll remember that a curse word is a reason to simply shut everything down in a sporting event will be the first. Because that is ridiculous. A fighter being disqualified because he cursed. Florida State Athletic Commission, take one of these and just, take one of these in perpetuity. Another break-in. When we come back, we will talk about Club Shay Shay distancing himself from FS1, Skip Bayless, and the Undisputed World. This is Cole Sportz, and I am Cole Johnson. Be right back right after this.
Do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to show that attainability. I want to show the accessibility of this kind of lifestyle.
From social media to having conversations with friends and family, you always have to put on face and say face.
What brings a smile to my face is the one person that totally believes in me, and that's my beautiful wife, Jody.
I just had to stop because I didn't value myself. I didn't love myself. And it's like, I have to learn to love myself.
Changing the world one conversation at a time. This is Revelations. Coming up on next week's installment of Cole Sportz, we'll dive a little bit further into the NFL as things are taking a turn. Like Dalvin Cook being released by the Vikings, things of that nature. And is there trouble in paradise between Stephon Diggs and the Buffalo Bills? And will the tandem of OBJ and Lamar Jackson work in Baltimore? Those things and more we'll touch on next week, but that is for next week, though. We're not done with this week, and we're also not done with the VIP zone as we take a trip back there. Brian McCarthy starts it off by saying, Dotes of the Week, brought to you by Stupid University. I'm sorry. Stupid University, where everyone is left back. And Victor Locke says, and now Stupid University presents Dote of the Week. Ryan loving it, says beat you to it. And Hall TV says LaFleur just staying in shape. Well, I don't mind that. It's just don't let the event be an absolute sham.
That's why I was with it. I'm like, you're going to disqualify a fighter because he was too blue in the mouth. I'm like, come on, man. The ref should have just simply handed soap and just shoved it down the fighter's mouths. I mean, come on. That's what I found ridiculous. Anyway. Well, we saw an end of an era after 7 years. A tandem is no more. From, you mean to tell me those two were working, to, oh my gosh, they are a train wreck, to, somebody has outgrown someone else. We are now about to, in the Shannon Sharpe, Skip Bayless Undisputed situation, about to go in. So it was around this time back in 2016 that Skip Bayless was looking to shop his wares, and he found a home with Fox Sports 1. But there was one problem. Who was going to sit across from him, like with the 12 years before, with himself and Stephen A. Smith at ESPN's First Take? And people were surprised that it was going to be Shannon Sharpe. And before then, he had a 10-year stint on the NFL on CBS, where he was one of, I think, 5 people that were there. And of course, you got a chance to see his football knowledge. This show tested other knowledge that he had about sports, mainly basketball, or I should say mainly LeBron James fandom, then basketball, and possibly a little bit of boxing, and a little bit of baseball. Now, the tandem that we didn't think we were going to see, we won't see, at least on television for a while, at least on an everyday basis, we won't see it again ever, because Shannon Sharpe's star eclipsed Skip Bayless's, and now he is saying goodbye. Now, he did a tearful goodbye in yesterday's rendition of this show, of this show's taping yesterday, or Tuesday, June the 13th episode of Undisputed. He had about, they gave him about 5 minutes, and he spoke about how he was going to miss the event of just simply preparing for the day. He was going to miss the people who were there, from the wardrobe to makeup to the production team to the statistician, and he, and to the myriad of hosts that have been on Undisputed, that first started with Joy Taylor, and now it's almost been a revolving door of them. And then, of course, he left Skip Bayless for the last thank you. And Shannon said to Skip that it was a great thing, that it's something that he can, it's something that he feels proud of, and that if and that when Skip puts his head to bed and puts his head on the pillow that night, remember that Shannon would always be forever thankful and grateful to him for the opportunity that Skip gave. And of course, Skip in return said that he fought for Shannon to be on the show. Now, Wise and I talked about, Wise El Jefe and I talked about this on Mentality, and that's a show that is also on the BS3 network. You can catch that Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, but I'm not plugging commercial. We talked about that, and we talked about Skip. Well, Wise actually said this, that Skip basically was, I'll use different wording, hoeing Shannon out. And he felt as though that Skip wasn't liking Shannon eclipsing his star, that because of the courtside seats and the increased attention that he was getting, especially when the Grizzlies were in town one time, and in town, I mean LA, and he was in the Crypto.com's courtside, and he not only got in trouble jawing with the Grizzlies, but he also jawed with T. Morant, John Morant's father. So there was more attention being brought because of that, and of course, more because it was well known that Shannon is a huge fan of LeBron James, to the point where one day, if I'm not mistaken, I think this was when the Lakers won their most recent championship. So this would be 2020. Shannon walked into Undisputed wearing a goat mask, a home yellow Lakers jersey, and of course it was LeBron's. He had a whole ton of Swisher Sweets, and he had a bottle of Hennessy, if you don't know what hen means. And so I could say that, man, I am happy for Shannon, and I could say that, this is great, and this is a wonderful opportunity for him, and I think he's going to knock it out of the park wherever he goes, and I rock with him with everything he does. With that scenario I just painted, that is one reason why I won't. Because there's two things to me that make me pause in throwing all of my weight on giving Shannon Sharpe the support necessary. One is he is a huge LeBron James fan, one of the biggest that we know of, probably the biggest celebrity fan that we know of. That's outward and bombastic with it. And to be completely forthright and blunt, he knocks the stereotypes that I did not find, and I do not find, all that comfortable in celebrating. Like, I don't necessarily need to see anybody, I don't care who you are, have Swisher Sweets and Hennessy. I don't need to see that. You can keep that at home. You could do that when the cameras aren't rolling. I don't need to see that when it's rolling. And I know that endears him to some. It doesn't endear him to me because, in my opinion, that is something that does not need to be on TV. Now, what does need to be on TV, and it's Shannon Sharpe that's doing it, is when he hosts Club Shay Shay. That is when he needs to be what he is, because there he is a prepared interviewer. He is professional. He's there, and he allows this is the best thing about him as an interviewer. He allows his guest to talk, and he does not, or he rarely does, talk over his guest. His guests complete their thoughts, and it's a flow of a conversation the way interviews should be. That is where I do like him. The caricature of Shay, the character of the world's favorite uncle, I could leave that. I don't need to see that again. So part of me celebrates him leaving, because I think he's leaving personally a situation that has gotten increasingly bad for him. But he's leaving a platform where I'm glad I don't have to see stereotypes. That's not even considered favorable in my view. And as for Skip, where does that leave him? Well, he has 2 more years remaining on his contract with FS1. So it probably is going to be, I get the feeling it's probably going to be something similar until they either do find someone permanent. It's probably going to be something similar to what Stephen A. Smith and First Take is doing. Whatever day it is, there will be a rolling cavalcade of other people who will sit on the opposite end of the chair with Skip Bayless, like a Rob Parker or Lil Wayne. It'll just be a revolving door of guests and analysts. You might see another Chris Broussard sighting there. Who knows? But it'll probably be a revolving door of others who will be coming in and debating Skip. His train is going to roll pretty much as scheduled. But I think the sad part is when you deal with the controversy that was the Damar Hamlin tweets, and then in January, and then in December, you deal with the fact that you insult a Pro Football Hall of Famer by alleging that he was jealous of Tom Brady because Tom Brady was playing at 45, a sport that Shannon Sharpe had to retire at 35. And also 3 does not equal 7. I don't think he learned his lesson. One of them being a quarterback playing at 45, yes, that's remarkable. But a quarterback doesn't have to deal with the strenuous task of being a tight end. That's 2 different ballparks of thought processes. But this is Skip. Skip is right and everybody's wrong when it comes to his analysis. So I'm happy for Shannon, but I'm also happy that we don't get to see stereotypes be on TV. And as for Skip, he's going to offend other people some more. Be prepared. And also be prepared for him to show off that, yes, he may be a white guy, but he's down with the brothers because he is a Michael Jordan fan because he covered Jordan throughout the time that he was in Chicago. And he also, wears Jordans all the time. And he's a huge Tom Brady fan. And that he's down for the brothers because of that, and because Lil Wayne is on his show probably once every other week. Be prepared for more of that, because Skip is going nowhere. Shannon's going somewhere. And I think we will not miss Undisputed at all. I pretty much am guaranteeing that. But what is Undisputed is that it did help Shannon get to a place where I think none of us thought he would ever get. So congratulations to Shannon for that. And now he has a platform that he could shine on his own. And Club Shay Shay, with the 1 million views on YouTube that he has, 1 million subscribers he has on YouTube, there you go. He has his own platform. And he has quality guests, and he's a quality interviewer. I believe that's his lane. And that's a jumping off point to do so many other things that he is destined to do. Just don't don another goat mask and have Hennessy at the ready, please. We need to not see that ever again in life. All right, one last trip into the VIP zone, and it's so great that you all are here. Here we go. The owner, the manipulator, and the operator of the BS3 network, Benjamin Southeth the said, "Sup, Cole?" And he goes on to say, "I'm surprised Shannon dealt with Skip for 7 years." Yeah, he dealt with him for that long. He also goes on to say Shannon did a great job in building his career on Undisputed. Yeah, whatever advice he received, he took it and did well with it. I think that is great. I think that is great what he did. So he got great advice and he used it expertly. My brother from another mother, Snowman, a.k.a. Brian Snow. What's up, man? He says, "Love your partner. Keep bringing the funk." Thank you, man. He goes on to say, "What's up to everyone in the chat?" And I say the same. Vlock A3 or Victor, he says, "Shannon was a bronzesexual to the nth degree." Yeah. BS3 says, "Look, Club Shay Shay is killing too." Yeah, it is. I love it. I love the platform. I love the platform. And I think what he has done with it, for the exception of the name, what he's done with it, it's great. And how he prepares as an interviewer, it's a lesson, I think, for many of us. Wow, this guy's prepared. And it's a great thing. He prepares at that like he did when he was a tight end for the Broncos and the Ravens. He's great. He's great there. Hot TV says, This was the breakup that I did not see coming. I think if you were to say this around November, you'd be correct. Because I don't think we saw it coming in November. I think we started to see it coming in December. But we were thinking, okay, well, brothers fight. It was a quarrel. It was a quarrel that happened on air. I'm sure they'll probably shake hands, make up, and that'll be that. But the DeMar Hamlin situation in January, I think that cemented him going. It was just a matter of when, not if. Snowman says, look, Club Shay Shay will close soon, and so will FS1. Snowman Multimedia Sportsnet is coming for that number one spot. Go ahead, Luda. Victor Law says, good morning to the general. Ryan says, look, so let me get this straight. They're going to copy Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson with their revolving panels. Copycatting is the highest form of tribute. Yeah, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Yeah. Victor, and I love what he's about. I love what he says here. He says, any option not named Nick Wright is fine with me. And what sucks about that is I think there'll be many Fox Sports producers that would say, oh, Nick Wright would be perfect to put along opposite Skip Bayless because Skip Bayless hates LeBron. Nick Wright loves LeBron. And I'm like, there's more to sports talk than just that. Hall TV says, I truly believe that the lawsuit from Favre had something to do with it. Yeah, it did. And look, who knows what's going to result from that? And we're going to talk immortality. Why is it not going to talk more about that too sometime next month? So we're going to break that down. Victor says, look, that was a stupid thing for him to do on both counts, talking about the DeMar Hamlin tweets and then beforehand the calling, basically alluding to Shannon being jealous of Tom Brady. At quarterback, he adds that doesn't take nearly as much abuse as tight ends do. No. And then on top of it, if you hear it from people who actually tackle him, one who actually knows how to absorb hits when he does get hit. I'm like, so even when you do lay a shot in, he knows how to protect himself, even in the hit. Yeah, so he could miss me with that criticism. He also goes on to say, Skip Bayless is also a high-ranking officer of the moronic Republic of Cowboys Nation. Oh my gosh, is he so ever? He stopped short of saying we're going to the Super Bowl 15 minutes after the Cowboys lose in whatever last game of the season will be, whether it's the regular season or in the playoffs. He stopped short of saying it, but he comes very close. And he is extremely moronic because his Cowboys love is so out there. He also says, look, Skip, he also says it could have been Club Sharpe or something along those lines along with his number. I'd been fine if it was like Club 84. I'd be happy if it was that. Club 84, I think, is kind of cool. Hall TV says, I'd rather see Nick Wright over LaShawn McCoy. Same. For this reason. At least with Nick Wright, I think he has an understanding as to how to be when it is a talking head. I think Shady just loves to be on the mic and in front of a camera just to say something. And you don't need to have him say something just for the sake of saying something. You want to have somebody, they may have the opinion, but you want them to have the facts the way they see it to back up what he asserts. Like if I were to say Hakeem Olajuwon is the greatest center of all time, I say that to you, and if I were to just simply be pom-pom about it, then you'd be like, well, what's the point of you being on the show, Cole? But if I were to say, well, only guy to hit you with a quadruple double, only guy to give you an MVP, a Finals MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year. If I were to do that, then you'd say, okay, that's his opinion, but he's coming with facts. I get to see, I understand why he's saying that. But Shady, he would just say stuff that just makes you say, why are you on television, man? Please. Victor says, no, you wouldn't, Hot TV. Nick Wrong makes all Bron lovers look bad. Look, I heard this guy on Houston radio long before he was on your TV screens on FS1. The dude was the same in Houston as he is now, and it was absolutely atrocious. It was mind-numbing. My ears were bleeding. I was like, goodness gracious. Hall TV says, whatever the reason as to why Shannon's leaving, Shannon was made for television. Yeah, he is. He is made for television. He talks fast. He has a bit of a lisp. He's extremely demonstrative, and he has an outgoing personality. Those are tailor-made for a TV personality. Yeah, I agree with you there. I just think he has to walk back some of the stuff he does. Hawk is laughing at Victor, and Hawk TV closes it out by saying, nah, Nick Wright makes Pat Mahomes fans look worse than Cowboys fans. Well, that might be true. But thank you guys so much, and keep the conversation rolling. That is what I love to see. I appreciate you guys. The VIP Zone, everybody, give them a hand. They are absolutely wonderful, and they are the reason why I do this show. Now, if you feel led to donate to the program, all you have to do is go to cash.app/$host Cole Johnson. That's cash.app/$host Cole Johnson. And that does it for another episode of Cole Sportz. For all of the VIP Zone, and for all of you on the BS3 TV network, all of you on YouTube land, and all of you on Spreaker, and wherever you are listening to this show, I am Cole Johnson. And this is
Thank you for tuning in to Cole Sportz. To download this episode, go to Spreaker and type Cole Sportz with a Z. For apparel, go to Spring and type Cole Sportz VIP Boutique. That's with a Z. To reach Cole Johnson, go to flowcode.com/page/host Cole Johnson. This has been a Comey Media Incorporated presentation.
And Victor, thank you for bringing that fire, funk, and flavor sports law with me. See ya.